Inflammation and pain. I think many of us deal with this on some level. But for some, it can be especially excruciating and debilitating, impacting many activities of daily living. And inflammation and pain often seem to go together, don't they? Maybe that's what you're dealing with now, and why you're exploring plant-based eating to see if it can help. So, can making a radical lifestyle shift from meats to plants really benefit our bodies in these areas? That's what we're going to look at today. In this episode, we'll see what some of the recent research is finding about plant-based eating and inflammation, and whether there can be improvement in pain levels too. So if this is what you've been struggling with, or know a loved one or friend battling with it, don't miss this episode. Let's dive in. Welcome to the Plant-Based Eating Made Easy podcast. I'm your host, Anna Zinn, plant-based registered dietitian and transition coach. Hi friend, do you want to regain your health with plant-based eating but feel overwhelmed and lost about how to do it? Do you feel it'll be hard to change your meat-heavy diet and impossible with working, running the home, or chasing after the grandkids? If so, you're in the right place. Here you'll find simple strategies, clear nutrition guidance, and practical tips to help you thrive plant-powered with more energy. So if you're ready to ditch the guesswork and transform your health the stress-free way, cozy up now with a hot cup of tea or listen while you walk, and let me show you how doable plant-based eating can be. Let's do this. Many of us can identify with pain and inflammation. For some of us, it can even be something we experience on a daily basis and have had to live with for many years. There's acute pain and inflammation, and then there's chronic pain and systemic inflammation. Neither is fun, but systemic inflammation and chronic pain can be especially hard to deal with. I know, because I've watched my mother endure nearly 21 years of chronic severe pain due to a spinal cord injury from a car accident. If chronic pain and inflammation is a big part of your life and you're exploring this potential lifestyle change, it's natural to want to know if a plant-based diet can help lessen what you're experiencing and bring healing to your body. Others are wondering the same. A few months ago, I saw this post from a member of my free Beginners for Plant-Based Diet Success community. He asked, "Hi, do you hear much from those with joint inflammation? Do they say that this diet will ease the pain?" In another post, a lady shared, "I am researching and checking out the whole food plant-based lifestyle while trying to use up the meat in the freezer. My main issues are inflammation, hand pain, and eye issues, which they believe may be caused by an autoimmune disease. Can anyone doing this lifestyle tell me if it has helped you with any of the above conditions?" I know many others may have a similar question, wondering if diet and lifestyle can really make a difference to pain and inflammation levels without needing to take more pain pills, undergo steroid injections, or major surgery. That's why I'm doing this episode today. So let's take a moment to look into this in more depth now. First, what exactly does the term systemic inflammation mean? Well, in a nutshell, systemic inflammation is a condition that occurs when the body is in a pro-inflammatory state. It's like the immune system is on high alert, trying to constantly defend the body. Stress, infection, or chronic diseases can all contribute to this, creating a prolonged inflammatory response. This is through an increased production of cytokines and chemokines, which stimulate inflammatory responses within the body. So can the way we eat positively impact inflammation levels within the body? One recent study published in 2023 looked into this. This large-scale study, conducted by Yoko Wang and colleagues, examined the association between plant-based diets, systemic inflammation, and mortality risk in participants of the NHANES, or National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey, between 1999 and 2018. A total of 27,915 participants were included in cross-sectional analysis, while 11,939 were used in the longitudinal analysis. During this study, the diet quality of individuals was examined, along with the grade of inflammation using measures such as C-reactive protein values. The researchers found that plant-based diets were associated with lower inflammation levels, but it was a specific kind. It was an increased intake of a healthy plant-based diet, a high-quality plant-based diet centered around whole plant-based foods like fruits, vegetables, beans, and whole grains that was associated with lower inflammation. In fact, it was found that adherence to a healthy plant-based diet index, or PDI, was associated with a 15 to 21% reduction in HSCRP, or high sensitivity C-reactive protein. On the other hand, an unhealthy plant-based diet was associated with greater inflammation. This would be one consisting of more highly processed, low nutritive value commercial foods high in refined sugars, salts, and oils. So the food one eats on a plant-based diet does matter. In 2021, a systematic review of 29 studies was also published, conducted by researchers Alexandrova and colleagues. These researchers looked at the associations between dietary patterns and biomarkers of oxidative stress and inflammation in 16 observational studies and 13 intervention studies. These study authors found an inverse association between plant-based diets and oxidative stress and pro-inflammatory biomarkers. Perhaps this is not all that surprising. One contributing reason why a whole food plant-based diet may bring down inflammation levels may include the fact that this way of eating is generally very low in saturated fat compared to a regular meat-based diet. In addition, polyphenols such as flavonoids in plant-based foods like fruits, vegetables, and legumes can have anti-inflammatory properties. Now, what about pain? Could plant-based eating possibly improve pain levels? Current research does seem to show an association. In 2021, a study was published by researcher Schoenberger and colleagues. This was a combined systematic review of 12 shortlisted studies and a meta-analysis of 7 studies. The researchers' goal was to look at the impact of potentially anti-inflammatory diets such as Mediterranean, vegetarian, and vegan diets on pain levels. The paper's main conclusion was that anti-inflammatory diets resulted in significantly lower pain levels than ordinary diets. The results of a small but well-designed 6-week prospective randomized open-label study published in 2015 are also worth mentioning here. Researchers wanted to see the effectiveness of a whole food plant-based diet on symptoms of osteoarthritis. So 40 adults with osteoarthritis were randomized into either an intervention whole food plant-based diet group or a control group. Those in the control group continued on their current diet. Pertinent measures were tracked along with weekly pain assessment levels. A total of 37 participants completed the study. At the end of the 6 weeks, it was found that those in the whole food plant-based diet group had significant improvements in terms of pain compared to the control group from week 2 onwards. In the research paper, the study authors concluded that a whole food plant-based diet significantly improves self-assessed measures of functional status among osteoarthritis patients. So today we looked at just some of the recent research conducted to examine whether plant-based diets can have an impact on pain and inflammation levels. What I've shared today is really just a small snapshot of what's been looked at so far in the research world in regards to this topic. Although I feel more well-conducted, large-scale prospective studies are definitely needed, so far the research seems to be pointing in the direction that plant-based diets are associated with lower pain and inflammation levels. That's really encouraging to see. But the type of plant-based foods you eat do matter. And the best ones to focus on in your plant-based diet transition are those minimally processed and unprocessed whole plant-based foods, such as intact whole grains, fruits, leafy greens, vegetables, nuts, seeds, and legumes. Friend, if you've been dealing with pain and inflammation and are struggling in your plant-based diet transition, I want to help you overcome the transition challenges you're facing. I want to give you the support and guidance you need to make a smooth, stress-free transition and help you improve your health by changing to a plant-powered lifestyle. Reach out to me by email at healthnow@plantnourish.com or apply for a free rapid health transformation call using the links in the show notes. Let's connect so I can show you that plant-based eating can be simple, doable, and enjoyable, even if you have physical or health limitations affecting your ability to cook or be in the kitchen for long periods of time. Let's journey towards optimal health together. Thank you for listening to the Plant-Based Eating Made Easy podcast. If this podcast has helped you, please rate and leave a written review on the Apple Podcast app or iTunes to let me know. Nothing will lift me up more than to read your review and see how this podcast has made a difference in your life. I also pick reviews to read on this show, so your review could be one of them. Come connect with me in my free Facebook community group, Beginners for Plant-Based Diet Success. Just go to bit.ly/PB Diet Success. That's bit.ly/PB Diet Success. You can also subscribe and follow this podcast to get notified when a new episode goes live. Signing off now, this is Anna, and I wish you the best health always.